everybody, it's James here over at Crypto Rookies, and we've got Vikesh and we've got Mohit, and we're here to talk about Heliocor today. Hey guys, can you just tell me a little bit about your project?
Well, I'm glad that you're asking this question because this is the 50th time that I've been asked this question today, but I'm more than happy to answer this. So Heliocor is a UK-based regulatory and technology company. A lot of people, when they hear about digital identity, and blockchain, they start comparing us to different companies which already are there in the market. But I must say that we have been in the market for over 4 years now. We have built state-of-the-art technology products. One is for the institutions called Robolytics, and the other one is for individuals like you and me, called a mobile app which is DocStore. Now these two products combined together creates an ecosystem, and that's why we are building a digital identity ecosystem which nobody has ever done it before, which is an anti-fraud ecosystem by protecting both institutions and individuals.
So when I hear the words like authentication, all these type of things, the first thing that springs to my mind is the Civic project. It was one of the first ones out there.
Absolutely.
How do you guys differ from that project?
Well, I think this question has come across a lot of times, and I always tell people that Civic does only 10% of what we do, because when we talk about KYC onboarding, there isn't just one level of onboarding and KYC involved. We talk about a basic KYC check, which may involve looking at your ID and address proof and maybe bank statement at the max. Then it goes on to CDD, which is customer due diligence. Then it goes to EDD, called enhanced due diligence. Then it goes to complex KYC onboarding as well, which involves further solution whereby the banks or the individuals involved doing the KYC may have to do a research, which is an independent research on you as an individual or company if you're opening a company account. So there are multiple layers within KYC and an onboarding process, whereby we do a complete range. So we start from A and finish until Z. Right? So it's a full solution. And that is why I always tell people that when you start comparing us to a company like Civic, they only do 10%. We have multiple other layers of KYC and onboarding solutions, which is needed by most of the companies nowadays, because there's no one type of customer which you are onboarding. There are multiple different types of audiences that you're catering to.
Okay. And can you give us some of the use cases that you've got at the moment?
Well, the best use case, in fact, instead of saying a use case, I would say we have real clients, real partners that are using our products. So starting from Robolytics, which currently monitors 15% of the global FX transactions on a daily basis. So that means right now, as we speak, 10 to 12,000 transactions per second are being monitored using our technology. That is Robolytics. Now that has nothing to do with blockchain, but it's a state-of-the-art technology because it uses all your latest tech terms from AI, artificial intelligence, big data, neural networks, machine learning, and that sits within the big banks or big institutions or cryptocurrency exchanges, forex trading, and so on. And for DocStore, which is a mobile app, as I said, fully GDPR compliant, fully KYC integrated onboarding solution, that has just been launched in May 2018 this year. And in the last 3 months, we have seen a great rush of clients coming to us for a solution like this, whereby it is cost effective. It makes it much more easier for them to simplify this KYC process, which is unnecessarily complex. It is a simple thing done in a very complex manner so far, and it is heavily reliant on manual processing of documents, which is what we are converting to a digital solution through DocStore.
Okay, and for the next sort of year or so, what does your roadmap look like?
Well, the roadmap so far has been clear, and going forward also is very crisp and clear. So for the last 2 years, we have been selling our core Robolytics solution to tier 1, tier 2 banks and financial institutions. DocStore was launched this year. Now what we plan to do for the next 6 to 12 months is complete our ICO as soon as possible, which is a way forward to raise funds to build this entire ecosystem globally. And then after that, we do plan to roll out our DocStore as well as Robolytics solution globally with much more functionality in it. That's it.
And will all those projects be linked to the Heliocor coin?
Oh yes, absolutely. The token, in fact, thanks for asking that question. That gives me an opportunity to tell how the token that we have launched, Helio Token, becomes a token of trust and value to be exchanged between institutions and individuals, which then makes an anti-fraud environment for us to trust each other. And that is why the motto is to restore trust with this ICO, as it enables us to reward individuals and institutions to validate each other's identity.
And if the guys obviously seen this video today and think, hey, this is a really interesting project, how can they check you out? Where do they go and where does the ICO start?
Well, again, that's a good question, because we have right now two websites. One is for our corporate client website, which is heliocor.com, that talks about what Robolytics does, what DocStore does, what the product is, how we are, planning to onboard clients and so on. The other side of the project is the ICO bit, which has recently started. We are still in the private pre-sale stage. The guys, if you're interested, please get in touch through heliocor.io. You may not be able to download all the documents as of now because it's still in the private pre-sale stage at this stage, but you could go to heliocor.io, which is the ICO website, and talks about the entire ecosystem, what we plan to do with our two flagship products, and how they integrate seamlessly to create an end-to-end solution.
Awesome. And just one final question. If you had to have it in your portfolio, which would you go for, Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash?
I'll go Bitcoin.
Me?
Yeah.
To be honest, I only trust Helio Token. So I will stick to. That's
a good plug.
I will stick to Helio Token because that's the token of trust.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Pleasure.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Got one of the Helio customers here. This is Crypto Arnie. How are you doing, fella?
I'm alright, how you doing?
Cool. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I guess I come from a trading background. Got into the space about 2 years ago. Started mining and then ICO investing last August, and obviously from there developing a framework and then expanding on that. And we've done well so far. We're working with a number of projects in the space for key services and obviously fostering a community for whether it's a project or here in London. We're trying to make sure that we are rooted in where we're building. So we've got a bit of a community, over 20,000-30,000 total reach, depending on where you look. So yeah, and I met Vikas here in London. And
why have you chosen these guys?
So we've been looking for a KYC and AML provider for about 6 months now, and there were our requirements. Trying to find the requirements in the first place is very hard because obviously ICO investing is basically a grey area when it comes to the FCA here, and trying to know how to store the data, what data we can, so what data we do need for money laundering checks and all that kind of stuff is basically you don't get the same answer depending on what kind of compliance obviously you talk to. So we checked some other solutions and a lot of them were kind of just unpractical for what we're doing. You're looking at $20 to $30 a check per person. Others you need really high volume. And so as a small group that wants to try and be compliant in the space, it's been very difficult to find a provider to work with. And we just hold steady there and found Heliocor. I met Vikas as he came into a mutual group that I was involved in, and I met his sales colleague Rojin. And I went through and I actually looked at the product. I was like, okay, this is interesting. At first, I actually thought it was too good to be true, based on what was being offered and everything. But over the last 2-3 months, we've been working closely together in order to get ourselves compliant with checks and obviously integration with DocStore as a product. So.
And I suppose for you guys, how important is it for you to have that and be compliant in the space?
It's really important because over the last couple of years, we've seen it's basically a Wild West where anything can happen. But as a kind of, I don't want to say a business, but I guess as a company or a business that wants to have that longevity in the space over a number of years, not just from now, we're not just here for a couple of months, but over a number of years, we need to put the kind of infrastructure in place that means we are compliant in the long run. And if anything happens or regulation changes, we can hold our hands up and say, look, we've been doing this from a while back before regulations came in place. So it's really important for anyone that wants to do things legitimately and properly. And I mean, we're going over and above what we need to do at this point in time. Actually, you know, we're not in America, we're not dealing with security, so there's a lot more leniency in Europe and other parts of the world, but we still want to be held to the highest standards. And obviously we're trying to do that with Heliocor.
I think that's admirable, because I think it's too easy to do take the easy shortcuts, I think, and actually to tread the harder path is actually, you know. Exactly,
because there's actually a lot more costs incurred for us. And you know, if people think if you're co-investing with a group and you're just throwing some ETH into a wallet or with, you know, other services, a smart contract pooling service, you know, there's not much thought into the cost and the time that it takes to actually set up this infrastructure. And I mean, we're lucky that because people in our community know that behind the scenes there's lots going on, and we often have to do a lot in return for the kind of allocations we get from big projects. But in the end, it's an ecosystem. I like to think of it as like we're a small cog in a clock, and everyone's a cog, and we all work together and we get to where we need to go.
Awesome. Excellent. And if anyone wants to check you out, where do they go?
You can go on my Telegram. It's Crypto Arnie. We have a public channel. And then I'm on YouTube as well. The community is free to join. We encourage anyone who wants to get, you know, the best advice, or, you know, just be in a community where people are very diligent about what they're doing, and just meet like-minded people. We're always trying to get our members to meetups across London as well. So if we have the chance to meet, we will. In fact, I'm hosting a crypto ween party. I'd like to invite you and your community to come. We'll be doing basically, it's just a fun thing, which is gathering on Halloween. We'll be doing a stunt at Parliament, and then we're all going to head to a bar, and we're trying to bring as many projects and as many communities, you know, together, so we can incubate the space a bit more and have a higher quality kind of standard in what's going on here in blockchain in the UK.
Awesome. Thank you, Arnie. Appreciate your time, mate.
Thanks.
Thank you.
If you liked today's video, then please leave me a like or a comment. You can also follow us on our Twitter, our Instagram, and also check out our Crypto Rookies website as well. As always, I hope you got great value out of today's video, and I hope to see you on the next video soon.